excuse me. Excuse me.
No. At one point, you're saying that these don't apply to you because of your sovereignship, but then you cite a court rule that's saying exactly the opposite. I see that in your pleading. Wait a minute. Just let me listen. But all this other stuff that you filed, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I have no clue.
Well, and the alleged the laws that you quote, and where's the corpus delicti? Because you can't injure a corporation state. You can't injure. And I got your Duns and Bradstreet number.
Yes, you can. Listen.
All right, let's set the stage. We've got a man who's facing charges for breaking into someone's house and getting caught with cocaine. Now, any reasonable person would probably call a lawyer and pray for leniency, but not this guy. No, this man decides he's going to sovereign citizen his way out of it. He actually tells the judge the laws don't apply to him because, get this, he's a sovereign citizen of the land. And when I say he's serious, I mean straight-faced, chest-puffed, full believer serious, like he just graduated top of his class from YouTube University. Judge Perkins sits there, calm as a monk, listening to this man.
I don't think that you're going to entertain any offer from the city. I will say that the offer is pleading to one count of disorderly conduct, and I'll find you $200.
I'm not contracted. I'm not going to contract with the city.
Let me finish what I have to do. Let me finish what I have to do, okay? As far as the procedure is concerned. This is
okay, excuse me.
No. Let me finish and I'll answer your question. We're here on an arraignment for Mr. Reginald Linton L. On one count, entering without permission. That's entering dwelling without permission. That is ticket number U613222121, complaint number U613222121. The maximum possible penalty for that is 90 days in jail and or $500 in fine if you found guilty of that. We're also here on complaint number U6132221 in violation of 38-11-2 of the City of Detroit Municipal Code. The other violation is 314-1 of the Municipal Code for the entering without permission. And then the possession of cocaine is in violation of 38-11-2. Both of them are punishable by maximum possible penalty of 90 days in jail and or $500 in fines. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, sir, and I'll set a $0 personal. I'm going to set a $0 personal bond. Do you want Ms. Hatcher to represent you, Mr. Linton L?
No.
All right. State your name for the record, sir.
I'm not here to contract with you. I'm just here as a meeting of the minds to get this case dismissed because there's no corpus delicti, and I'm not a state, federal, corporate entity, ins legis, if you will. So my documents speak for themselves. And
well, that's what I was talking
then
about.
There's the matter.
That's what I was
there's
talking
the
about.
Matter. Right. There's the matter of infringement.
All right. Are you done?
Oh, proceed.
Yeah, you said your documents speak for themselves, and that's what I was talking about. I spent the morning, part of the morning, reading all the documents that you provided, sir. And like I say, from what I can gather and from what I know about cases like this, you're trying to say that you're sovereign. The Constitution doesn't allow the city of Detroit or the state of Michigan to be able to police their streets and protect the health, safety, and welfare of their citizens, and that the laws that are codified under the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit do not apply to you. Is that correct?
Well, the thing of it is, as it states here, if you read the document, as it states, I haven't harmed anyone. There's no corpus delicti. My going to visit someone.
It is a corpus delicti.
Where's the corpus delicti?
They indicate that you have crack cocaine on you in the city of Detroit. And the last time I checked, crack cocaine is not legal to have in the city of Detroit. There's no doctor that's going to be able to give you a prescription for it. And this is the allegation that they made. Now, I'll tell you this. Well, I don't see any. Okay.
No, go ahead. Forgive me.
Okay, I'll tell you this. One thing I will acknowledge, I will acknowledge that as for the EWOP ticket, he did state in his pleadings that he was allowed to come in this house. He was invited in this house, and the house was fully furnished, and he was invited. So I don't know. I do have some question about that. I also have some.
That's what trials are for.
Yeah, that's what trials are for, and he's made that. He's at least made that case and asked for the crack cocaine ticket. I don't know. Is there any way to determine that it was actually crack cocaine? So those are issues that I have with the case. But as far as what you're filing, I really, the stuff that you've put together, it seems like you've taken a lot of time with it, but you're also kind of contradicting yourself in your own pleadings when you cite the Michigan Court Rule 2.02b that allows me, and it says that I can take judicial notice. And particularly in that document, it says, when discretionary, a court shall take judicial notice without request by a party of one, the common law, constitutions and public statutes enforced in every state, territory, and jurisdiction of the United States, and two, private acts and resolutions of Congress of the United States and of the legislature of Michigan, and ordinance and regulations of governmental subdivisions of agencies of Michigan, and the laws of foreign countries. So at one point you're saying that these don't apply to you because of your sovereignship, but then you cite a court rule that's saying exactly the opposite. That I can take judicial notice because judicial notice gives me power to say that they do have a jurisdiction over you.
Well, there is no subject matter jurisdiction, and also
and unravel. And you can just tell he's thinking, why am I wasting oxygen on this conversation? Then the judge tries to explain the charges. Disorderly conduct, possession of cocaine, entering without permission, the whole list. And this guy immediately interrupts with, I'm not here to contract with the city. Judge Perkins sighs, takes a breath, and keeps going like a patient parent explaining to a toddler why crayons don't go in electrical outlets. He enters a not guilty plea on the guy's behalf, and still, this man keeps rambling about corporate entities and meeting of the minds. Now here's where it gets wild. The judge actually does his homework. He reads the stack of bizarre documents this guy filed. You can see Perkins trying to make sense of them, flipping through page after page of nonsense like, what is this? Apparently, the defendant believes.
I'm gonna go back a little bit. Going to this home where the guy unlocked the door and said what he stated. Now, I went there to actually go.
Now, I don't want you to listen. Let me stop you right now. I don't want you to state anything that may implicate you, right? Incriminate you. I don't want you to state anything because now is not the time to defend yourself against those charges. I'm just saying that I see that in your pleading. Wait a minute. Just let me listen. I see that in your pleading, and on its face, then I probably would agree with that. If you go if somebody invites you to a home and it's fully furnished, it doesn't look like it's it looks like they own it and live there. I don't know. On its face, that sounds like a good that sounds like a good argument in your behalf. I don't know what the police are gonna say. I don't know whether they have the ability to say that this property was not theirs, the person that you claim it was, but for the most part, I thought the argument would be a pretty good argument, but all this other stuff that you filed, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I have no clue.
Well, you need me to elaborate? Exhibit 1.
I mean, well, like I say,
Exhibit 1 is an authenticated birth certificate. Exhibit 1 is an authenticated birth certificate. That's actually expatriation. Exhibit 2.
And what is that? Say that again.
Expatriate.
What? And give me your understanding of what that means.
Well, in other words, I own what you would be going after, which is my estate. I am the beneficiary.
Let's go to that. Let's go to that portion. I read that portion, right? And you filed a document with the county with the Wayne County Register of Deeds, and you, in this document, it says estate conveyance deed, and this goes back to October 14th, I guess, of 2014. It looks like, or 2019, wherever that is, and it says that by first party grantor Reginald Ray Linton estate, a foreign estate whose original address is 814 Jefferson Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, to second party grantee Reginald Linton L., a indigenous man, secured party whose mailing address is this mailing address, I won't say it on the record. And then it kind of goes through what you're conveying, and it gave some consideration. Well, first of all, I'm looking at it like this. All right, are you saying that I'm conveying my estate of 814 Jefferson Avenue? Or because when I look at this conveyance of a deed, that means you're conveying some property to somebody. And then if you're looking at it, if I take what I believe you're trying to say, is you're trying to say I conveyed Reginald Linton estate to Reginald Linton L.
Correct.
But when you say that, then we're just saying, hey, Reginald Linton L can't go in the house without permission and can't have crack cocaine on him.
And I can go around and around and give it to you.
And I'm not gonna spend too much more time on it. I'll let you state your but because this hasn't been responded to by the city. Then let me just go through with some other stuff that I said. You got a document, United States Department of State, to all to whom this presents shall come. Greetings. I certify that the documents hereunto annexed is under the seal of the state of Tennessee, and that such seal is entitled to full faith and credit. Okay, I mean, are we talking about your birth certificate? That's full faith and credit. But you're not referencing any of these documents under the seal, so I don't know what you're talking about. Then you provide me Did you? Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Then you provide me what I had to go look up, that the world political asylum card and the world government of world citizens card. So I go to their website and I looked it up. And in the last paragraph of the world passport, it says, a passport gains credibility only by its acceptance by authorities other than the issuing agent. So that in of itself, for this passport to be authentic and people support it and recognize it, the other people beside the world passport people have to be able to say, I recognize that as an authority. And I don't know if the government of the United States recognizes this as any authority. As far as
Well,
I
use it to get into. I use it to get into the federal building to take care of certain issues. And as far as the document you were speaking in terms of the Department of License and Regulatory Affairs, there was a diligent search done on my name to show that there's no liability or no corporate entity that has been registered under me. And the other issue is with all the what you have before you is because, well, yeah, courts are operating under federal debt collection procedure, and all officials, federal and state.
I don't know where you get that authority and where you say that. You haven't cited that in your brief at all, and I don't know that to be true. I know that the courts are operating.
I know it. You say the court is operating under the Constitution.
Yes.
So if you're operating under the Constitution, why is there an Admiralty statutory maritime flag behind you?
I didn't get that. What did you say now?
I said, if you're operating under the Constitution, why is there a statutory maritime flag behind you?
A statutory maritime flag.
Yeah, that flag that you have behind you is a flag that actually belongs out at sea. So that's Admiralty Maritime, and the alleged laws that you quote and preside over your Michigan citizens with are statutory and codes.
Right.
They're not common.
The Constitution doesn't allow Detroit or Michigan to enforce their laws because somehow he exists outside the system. You can almost feel the collective facepalm from everyone on the Zoom call. Then the man says the city can't charge him because there's no injured party. And Judge Perkins calmly replies, "They're saying you had crack cocaine, sir. And last time I checked, that's illegal." And for a moment, a very brief, beautiful moment, the sovereign citizen goes quiet. It's like the gears in his head jammed. He's standing there realizing maybe, just maybe, sovereignship doesn't cover narcotics. That's when it hits you. Watching this is like seeing someone argue that gravity doesn't exist while falling down the stairs. But to be fair, Judge Perkins is trying. He even admits that one of the man's arguments, that he was invited into the home, might technically hold up if it's true. That's what trials are for, the judge says. But then, like clockwork, the guy goes right back to...
They don't have to be common law. They've been codified. If you read the whole Constitution, the 14th Amendment gives the states the power to codify their laws. All right, so Mr. Linton L., today is only the date and time for arraignment in the matter. So
right. I want to, if you don't mind, I want to
leave here
again.
Leave? I don't want to see you with no clothes on, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Exhibit 5 is a certified document from the Library of Congress, where there was an act to provide for a government for the District of Columbia, and which happens to be a municipal corporation, which happens to be where you are, a municipal corporation. Now, the document that you stated about the United States of America, United States is given full faith and credit and so forth, is where a legal search was done by my name. And see, I'm not my name. My name was given to me to distinguish me from you and so forth. So if you go and look at, I think it was Exhibit 5 with my identification on it, states that Memphis, Tennessee Republic. It says nothing about a District of Columbia or a private or municipal corporation. I wasn't born in a corporation. So there's the subject matter jurisdiction. And here's the proof that I'm not a ens legis, if you know what that is off the top of your head. You might have to go research that too. That's a creature of the law. See, legally, you guys can do what you do, but how much lawful it is, as you state, that you operate under the Constitution. Well, if you go back and look at my signature or my identification, UCC 1-308, not to be compelled to perform under any unbilled contract that I haven't entered into without knowledge and knowing of all said contract. And I don't have a contract with you guys or the state of Michigan. And well, again, you said there's a corpus delicti. Where's the corpus delicti? Because you can't injure a corporation state. You can't injure. And I got your Duns and Bradstreet number.
Yes, you can. Listen. Yes, you can. Listen. Let me just say this. I know you're not going to believe what I'm saying because you have formulated your own belief, but you can criminalize a company and a corporation criminally responsible. You can do that.
Okay.
You can hold a corporation criminally responsible, and you can hold the officers of that corporation criminally responsible.
Okay, so here's the thing. That officer, which is not an officer of the court, issuing out contracts for me to engage with your municipality, and him issuing a contract, he don't have a right to issue no contract to me for me to engage with you. And then, as a matter of fact, that's why I quoted in here in the affidavit. That's why I quoted in the affidavit on page number 4. It states, "Who may serve generally process in civil actions may be served by any legal competent adult who is not a party or an officer of a corporate party." He's an officer of a corporate party. You operate corporately, and where you work is corporate, and he's a private mercenary. I have several Supreme Court cases where it states that police officer has no constitutional duty to even protect anybody. So he has no constitutional duty to protect. He don't have a right to harass either. Now, the other thing about some cocaine, he didn't have a warrant to search me or my truck. He just pulled me over and assumed what he assumed.
Now, listen. Now you're talking language that I understand. Now, none of that was in your brief. The only thing that was in your
actually it is there, because it's in there. It's in there. The terminology that I use wouldn't be what you would use, where it states I didn't harm anybody. That in your legalese terms would replace
we got to be speaking the same language in order to talk.
I understand what you're saying. I understand very well what you're saying.
And I gotta speak the language of the written law and how it's written, and the way you write it. I mean, I can't go into your mind.
You say right. Well, you say law, and I see something legal, which is nothing more than statutory or code. And to me, those are actually that's private law.
So why did you cite the Michigan court rule in your brief? Right in your brief.
Well,
why did you tell me?
That was cited.
Why did you tell me? Why did you tell me?
That was cited because if you go in the beginning of where it states that I'm appearing specially, not not generally, but specially.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I see you only been there since 2021, and from that point to this point, I don't know how long that is, and I don't know, because
under a year.
They don't tell everybody everything.
Quoting made-up laws, referencing corporate entities, and waving around birth certificate exhibits like they're Excalibur. At this point, You can almost hear the courtroom staff quietly groaning in the background. And honestly, I don't blame them, because what comes next takes this from confused to galaxy brain delusional. So the defendant starts waving around more exhibits like he's about to win a Nobel Prize in nonsense. He claims Exhibit 1 is his authenticated birth certificate, apparently proof that he's been expatriated from the system. Then he proudly declares, "I am the beneficiary of my own estate." Judge Perkins just blinks. You can almost hear him thinking, "What did I do to deserve this today?" He calmly flips through the paperwork and reads aloud, "By first-party grantor Reginald Linton Estate to second-party grantee Reginald Linton L." And then he pauses, because this man literally tried to deed himself to himself. Like, "Congratulations, sir, you now officially own yourself." Perkins keeps it professional, but his tone says everything. He's trying to follow along, but you can tell his brain is quietly whispering, "This can't be real life." Then, out of nowhere, the sovereign citizen starts, rambling about his world political asylum card and a world government passport. So Judge Perkins actually looks it up online, in real time, and finds out it's from some random world citizen website. He reads the disclaimer out loud. A world passport only gains credibility if accepted by other authorities. Translation, it's about as legally valid as a library card written in crayon. And what does the defendant say? "Well, I used it to get into a federal building, sir." That doesn't mean it's official. That just means the security guard probably didn't care enough to argue with you, but then it gets even more ridiculous. He starts pointing at the flag behind Judge Perkins and says, "If you're operating under the Constitution, why is there a maritime flag behind you?" A maritime flag? He's talking about the U.S. flag with the gold fringe, the one every courtroom has. Judge Perkins pauses, gives this look like, "We're really doing this, huh?" And the man doubles down, claiming that fringe means the court is operating under admiralty law. At this point, even people watching from home can't help but laugh. He's literally arguing that fabric trim voids jurisdiction. That's like saying your taxes don't count because your accountant used a blue pen. And honestly, this is where the comedy turns to tragedy, because you realize this guy genuinely believes it. He's deep in that rabbit hole of fake law blogs and YouTube gurus promising freedom from tyranny with nothing but bad grammar and made-up Latin. Judge Perkins tries one last time to reason with him. He explains calmly that the 14th Amendment gives states the authority to codify their own laws. That's how society functions. But the man interrupts again, saying, "I wasn't born in a corporation." He then waves another document claiming he was born in the Memphis, Tennessee Republic, not the United States. Not Tennessee, the Republic. You can feel everyone's souls leaving their bodies at this point, and honestly, props to Judge Perkins. He never loses his cool, not once. He keeps pushing through the nonsense like a true professional, patiently dismantling every claim while still maintaining respect. By the end, it's painfully clear. This man isn't arguing law. He's arguing belief, and there's no law book in the world that can fix that. Perkins finally wraps it up, telling him straight, "You can hold corporations criminally responsible. You can hold officers responsible. The law applies to everyone, and just like that, silence." The sovereign citizen has nothing left to say. His grand legal revolution ends not with a bang, but with the quiet hum of courtroom exhaustion. Honestly, Judge Perkins deserves a medal for not just muting him halfway through. Because if this was me, I'd have hit "end meeting for all" the second he mentioned the flag fringe. But that's what makes this case so fascinating. It's a perfect example of how far people will go to convince themselves the rules don't apply, right up until reality shows up with handcuffs. So here's the real takeaway. You can claim sovereignship, quote fake laws, and wave homemade IDs all day long. But once you're standing before a real judge, fantasy law collapses fast.